Honestly, guys, at this point, I'm starting to believe that I'm in love with pain. So, if you've been watching my videos yesterday, I did make a loss on this, whereby I lost about $900. But, however, I'm still convinced that there's a possibility for these assets, specifically gold and silver, to be able to make it much higher, reach into the areas around 400 or even go much higher. Or we might actually see prices move above this area, take a bounce, and then take prices much higher into the annual target that we have set for 6,300. All right, so apart from that, one of the things that we've been following closely, if you've been watching my videos, is that using the Horizon Bridge Macro Intelligence Dashboard, we've been able to monitor the war between US and Iran very closely. And currently, we've seen that Gaza, there's an article that Gaza ceasefire talks see rare progress. So this is one of the news which was reported by Reuters, and if we open that simply, you will notice that there's actually some progress being made within the US Strait of Hormuz war. So what does this mean for the market and how everything else is performing? Well, for once, there's a possibility that oil can actually see some lower prices. So if you've noticed within the past few days, we've actually gotten some moves much lower within the pricing of oil, whereby we actually managed to gap down all the way, opening at about 5% and moving all the way down to about 10%. And then from there, we've taken prices much higher again. And I believe that the reasons why prices are actually going up is because we might actually be looking for a price point whereby we might take a rebound from there. So if you know anything about the markets, is that gaps such as these create a very strong supply, demand and supply zone. So if we simply mark this area out, you will notice two things. Prices have actually managed to jump over this price at least two times. So prices have actually managed to jump above these prices at least two times. So what that tells you is that this area must be a very strong area of, we could say, demand and supply. But of course, we are not simply going to judge this based on that. But also, if we come down into the lower time frame, specifically the 4 hour. So if we come down to the 4 hour time frame, you actually notice that prices are taking a rejection at around these areas. So we did get like a rejection right there, and then another rejection right there, and prices seem to be moving much lower from there. And apart from that, one of the things, if you remember, within our past videos, was that the entire market was falling on its own all together at the same time. So if you notice, oil was trading lower, the dollar index was trading much was trading lower as well in some instances, mainly we could say sideways. You had assets such as silver and gold trading much lower, and we had stocks as well which have been trading sideways for some period of time. So we've actually been losing some steam in terms of commodities as well. So what does this tell us? And apart from that, silver, I mean Bitcoin, which cryptos have actually also been trading much lower. So within the market, these assets are not supposed to go down at the same time, go down at the same time. The reason why is because people usually just circulate the money. So they move the money from one asset, push it into another asset, and then move the money from the other asset, put it into another asset. So that's one of the things that you have to look for. That should give you sort of like a clue into what's happening in the market. So far, the reason why that was possibly happening is because people were liquidating their assets, putting everything into cash due to the increased uncertainty in the market. So let's just review what the VIX index says, which is the volatility index. So within here, I believe Right, so let's just check the. Okay, so we don't have that specific asset right there, but then I believe we could have seen something regarding the volatility of the assets actually moving up. So you can see that the volatility has actually been moving up a bit within this specific area, moving from these lows going up into this 21 area from down from 15. So that's actually some volatility rising from there. But one of the things that you will notice is that at the same time the dollar index was actually moving much higher within these areas. So the reason why that was happening is because due to the increased risk and volatility within the market, then traders were actually pushing their trades, closing their trades and putting them back into cash. That's why there were a little bit more demand for the DXY or the dollar index. So now what's happening in the market and what is the reason for me to actually consider taking some gold and silver longs, as well as I'm looking into some oil shorts as well. So the reason why is because if you might observe, yesterday we did get some high impact news. Of course, the Horizon Bridge Intelligence Dashboard isn't really updating, but I can still show you. We did get this news, which is the federal funds rate, and we got one of the scenarios that we got was actually that this rate was held. So it was held. So what does that mean? It means that if we are holding the rates at the same value, and if you remember a few days ago I actually talked about this, that if we're going to hold the rate at the same value, then that's still a very strong signal, because it still suggests strong resilience within the United States, and as such there's going to be lower probability of a rate hike. So if we don't get a rate hike, but rather we get a much higher probability of a rate cut, then what that is going to do is that it's going to send the DXY tumbling down. And the reason why that happens is because of the bonds market, which does not get which in this case does not get investments. So that's one of the things that normally happens, and that's one of the things we look into. So we actually did move we actually did get like a bit of like some slowing down within the 10-year yield, but mainly let's look at the DXY, which got a major hit all the way from 101 down to 99. So that's a very huge. If you trade using the DXY, you know what I'm talking about. So apart from that, if you look what is happening as well, you will notice that as the DXY is moving down, you also notice another asset, specifically the Swiss franc, as well as the Japanese yen, the Great British pound, simply moving down. So all these assets are actually moving down. And one of the things that this could signal is that people are pushing back, people are moving away from safe haven assets such as the dollar. In this case, people are removing their money from cash and putting it into much riskier assets such as Nasdaq. So we've started to reallocate funds within the market, and funds are moving from less risky assets, guaranteed sure assets such as the dollar, moving into Nasdaq, which is up at least 3.3% for the day, as well as Bitcoin, which is a much riskier asset, which is up 1.3% for the day. Apart from that, we have silver absolutely busting the ceiling, with at least about close to 3% high for the day. So this is actually a very big signal with regards to how traders are reacting within the market and how the market is positioning itself overall for long term. So that's why we currently have the long trade open on gold, and we have a buy stop order set for sell stop order set for US oil. So if we do manage to get a ceasefire within the Strait of Hormuz, then our oil trade should perform wonders. And if we do get like a ceasefire at the same time, we should get better pricing on gold, which could lead to a very good capital appreciation on the risk that we've set out for gold. All right, so that's that for this video, and don't forget to leave a like and follow, because I'll be making these videos for a couple more months, I believe 2 years. We'll just see how far we can go down with it, but I plan on documenting my journey overall and see how it can help you as well. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you have a great trading week. But remember, don't follow anything that I'm saying as trading advice. Everything is just for educational purposes only. So thank you so much and have a blessed trading week.